Hello, joining me now is Liya Kebede. Thank you so much for being with us. Liya is a supermodel and also an entrepreneur and the founder of the Liya Kebede Foundation. So you served for the World Health Organization as a goodwill ambassador for maternal and child health. Tell us about that work.
Yes, so I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and growing up in Ethiopia, hearing of women dying in childbirth was something that was very, 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 very common, a very common occurrence. And when I had my children, I had them in New York City, and I saw firsthand the amazing facility and services and that you get, when you're pregnant. In Africa, and in most third world countries, but in Africa there's a saying that says that when a woman is pregnant, she has one foot in the grave. And that's because most women die in childbirth. And it's one of the number one killer of women in Africa is childbirth and pregnancy-related issues. The sad part about this is that most of these deaths are actually preventable or treatable. Well, preventable, the deaths, and then the conditions that they're dying from are treatable or preventable. Most women die from infections and hemorrhage and high blood pressure. It's all things that any woman can experience as when you're pregnant and giving birth anywhere, except that when that happens here, you're taken care of and you don't lose your life over it. But when it happens in a place like Africa and third world countries, they don't have access to hospitals. They don't have access to doctors. They live really far away. They live in rural areas. There's no facility near them. There is no skilled person near them. They deliver in their huts, sometimes by themselves, sometimes by just a neighborhood, woman who has a bit of experience but can't really help you if something really goes wrong.
Not medically trained,
Not
perhaps.
medically trained, and they deliver. I mean, I've seen a delivery happening, and they just put a small piece of cloth on the floor, and the baby's received on the mud floor, because that's just what they have. And the minute there's a complication, they suddenly realize they need to go to the hospital, and then by the time they get it together, whether there's an ambulance or not, or any kind of transportation, and then how far is the hospital, can they even get there, the woman usually dies on the way. So I started working as an advocate with the WHO for maternal health, because when I started, it was about 10 years ago, the issue was not being addressed at all. Not addressed, but it was not an issue that was being talked about or given priority to or invested in. It was an issue that everybody sort of has taken for granted because women have always died in childbirth. It was not a new cause. And so when I started working, our goal was really to raise awareness on the fact itself. One woman dies every 2 minutes. It's a lot of women. It's about 300,000 women a year. In Africa, 2/3 of it happens in Africa. It's a lot of women.
Can I ask you, is there a fear when women become pregnant because the maternal mortality rate is so high?
Absolutely. Women know and already prepare with the idea that they may die in childbirth. Yes, absolutely.
It's such a foreign concept, right? If you become pregnant here, it's not.
Never
You are
occurs to you.
concerned perhaps about your child's health, and you obviously people say, you want your baby to be healthy. That's your primary concern, but you don't really think about you losing your own life in the process of childbirth. So that's a completely different way of approaching a very natural part of the life cycle of something that many women go through.
Yes, and also the irony that you're dying, bringing another life into this world, because you're not given the necessary access to basic health care is even worse.
Yeah. So obviously there are many challenges which you outlined, but what are the ones that you feel you can tackle with the work of your foundation?
We mostly focus on training skilled health attendants because, again, we all know there's a lot of shortage of doctors in places like Africa, and so training a doctor is more expensive, takes more time, but there are other tiers of skilled attendants that you can actually train to fill in the gap for all these simple conditions, hemorrhaging, or if you see that, if you're followed by somebody and they see that you have a small body, because most of these women who are actually getting pregnant are young girls. We have to remember that.
Yeah.
And so if the baby's too big, or if they think they have high blood pressure, they can already advise them to be like, oh, you may be at risk, so you have to take care of this, take care of that, go closer to a hospital area just in case something happens. There's a gap there that can be addressed just by training health skilled workers.
Your foundation is focused on Africa and specifically impact for mothers in Ethiopia. What have been the successes that you've enjoyed so far?
We have, helped with enabling a maternity center in the southern part of Ethiopia, in Awassa, and it's been incredible to see that just a simple maternity center can deliver so many healthy babies, and so many women go home alive with their babies. It's been really wonderful, and I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves, wow, that little maternity center has delivered 10,000 babies. That's a lot of babies, and it's very doable, actually. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is that the solutions are not complicated. They are attainable and doable. It requires definitely investing in women's health and choosing to invest in women's health.
Yeah. How has your work as a supermodel impacted your work to try to reduce maternal mortality?
For me, it's been an opportunity that was given to me I use it as a platform to be able to come to these things and be part of this and be able to, give voice to those women who need it. And it has given me so much opportunity, really, to address this issue, to talk about it, to have people get interested in it, and really get a lot of also the fashion community has been very, very helpful and very supportive of this with me, which has been really great. And then I get to come and talk with Tina Brown and and all these amazing women who are in the panels every day, and also make maternal mortality part of the conversation.
You've got a good audience here.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for speaking with us, Liya.
Thank you.